Okay, this is the first garden, and this is pretty much where our backyard ended when we moved here in 1991. And now it's a long time after that, and every year I just kept chipping away. Oh, by the way, this is our homemade dog agility course, if you're wondering what that stuff is laying in the yard. Okay. Now we'll walk back here. The lilac tree doesn't get enough sun, but it really blooms. I do everything I can for it. Magnolia was pretty pink blossomed about 2 weeks ago. This is the second big garden. Part of this used to be just a wood pile, and it was the first sunny patch I could make in the yard. Here's a Vigela. I'm trying to pronounce that correctly for my German friend Marion. And some climbing roses that will bloom for the first time this year. I'm ecstatic. Let's see, and then the peony. I got bare root peony in multiple shades, well, maybe 10 years ago, and they are doing well. We'll walk through some little paths here. Chive. Interestingly, 2 shades of chive. And rows of Sharon trees, purple spiderwort. These are my favorite irises. They're called Heavenly Blue. And the bee balm will attract a lot of butterflies and bees this summer. And hummingbirds. We have lots. And hibiscus is just starting. It's a late bloomer, but it has blossoms the size of dinner plates in August. And more colors of spiderwort. My one poppy that actually will have 2 blossoms this year, so that's exciting. Have some. This is one of last year's projects. It's a garden in the shape of Michigan. And it has Shasta daisy and the bright green, almost chartreuse, yellow, bushy plants, I don't know their name, and more spiderwort, and butterfly bush that starts low and that will shoot up and blossom soon. Oh, and that's the little puppy. She's mad because she can't, not mad, she's sad because she can't come down here right now. Lots of iris. This is wetter soil, so it does well here. Siberian iris over here. I forget the name of this, but Thomas picked it out. It's his favorite plant. He likes the texture. Okay. Let's walk over here. We'll see Mrs. Martin. She likes to come every year, and she has the most beautiful bird song. And she's going to start getting mad at me. You can see over there watching me. She's on the top of that stump because she has babies inside. So I will make this a quick trip. More iris and hibiscus and hydrangea over there. And this is very wet soil. It can be a couple inches of water, like a vernal pond in the spring. And nothing would grow back here, but I found something that will. It's called pickerel weed, and those are a couple tarps of weeds from just this morning. They'll have bright blue spiky flowers in a couple weeks, and they'll last until the end of the summer. And I've ordered more. And of course wild geranium, which really works well. And the skunk cabbage, which looks pretty in the spring but then fades fast. It's almost ready to start fading. And my other iris garden, lots of hosta, of course, and milkweed, and you'll see more of that later. This is a new Siberian iris. It's done really well for being planted really late last summer. And common lilac. And I wish you could smell this peony. It's so fragrant. I love them. Okay, away from the peonies, back to what was once a vegetable garden. And this year we'll have tomatoes, but these are hollyhocks that I planted last year, and they didn't bloom because they bloom in their second year. So I'm pretty excited to see those blooming. And then these are volunteer morning glories. I'm just going to let them climb up the poles. And a couple tomato plants that are also volunteers from years past coming back. And here's a ring of Shasta daisy and primrose over here, which bloomed so nicely. And just about done. And the fencing, of course, it's not the most aesthetic look, but it's very effective for helping the dogs train to our yard. Some new little lime hydrangeas I'm excited about, and the fence has also done a really good job of keeping the deer out. So for the first time, we'll have lots of blossoms on our daylilies. Usually we don't because the deer eat them all. And then here I was talking about milkweed. It's the only food for monarch butterflies. So I have a whole section of milkweed that gets sun most of the day, which butterflies also like, mixed in with daylily and Japanese anemone. And then the last garden I'll show you today is the side garden with sweet woodruff, which was a mass of tiny white blossoms. Let's see if I can show you one. And wild oak, which is full of yellow leaves around the tree trunk, but those have stopped blooming. And of course, hosta and iris and chives and plants that just kind of make it through the summer without a whole lot of sunlight. This is a very shaded area. And daylily and clematis and more spiderwort and fothergilla or fothergilla, I don't know how to pronounce it. And that's kind of it. The sweet woodruff, maybe I'll show you one over here. the shade areas stay and bloom longer. Little white flowers, but they're just covered with white flowers. And before I end, I will try to find a lily of the valley, which is what all these plants are. This whole section of this garden and this whole border. And I'm sure you've seen them before, but try to find a blossom that's still, oh, I think they may all be gone. Just like a little chain of white bells, tiny white bells. I think I may be out of luck. And this video is getting too long. Darn it. Ah, well, there's a couple just about ready to fade. And that's where I'll end. So I hope you enjoyed your little trip through my garden.